after watching Ohio State the past few weeks, got to see them against Penn State. I kind of think Michigan covers. I don't think they win, though. I think it's kind of, remember 10 years ago when both of them were ranked number 1 and number 2, and the final score was 42-39. It was a really close game. I think it's kind of going to go like that, but I think Ohio State pulls out the victory, and but Michigan covers.
One quick thing about that game. I just want to point out that this is, aside from, I think they both played Wisconsin, I guess. Aside from Wisconsin, this is the only game this year where those two teams are actually playing somebody good. I just want to point that out. So if something comes up in the game...
Ohio State did go to Oklahoma.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Oklahoma and Wisconsin. Those are the only two teams. These teams have played 11 games so far. Less than 20% of their games have been cupcake easy walks.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
And they've lost a couple of them. So
I think they've both only played 2 good teams. I think that Michigan's played Colorado, who at the beginning of the year we didn't think was that good, but they've now turned out to be a good team.
You can't tell me Colorado's a good. I know they're ranked, but I don't think that they're that good. I don't even give them the. I'm not even going to give them the respect enough.
They gave Michigan the best game up to that point.
But that just because they're the best game doesn't mean they're that good. I don't know.
I'm not saying that I'm not saying they're like world beaters or anything. I'm just saying, I think they've played 2 teams. I think each team has played 2 teams. Wisconsin is, that's somebody that both of them have played who's decent. And then Ohio State played Oklahoma and Michigan played Colorado. And then I'm agreeing. Other than that, they haven't played nobody. So this would really only be their 3rd game of the year. And Ohio State slipped up against Penn State, and I don't think Penn State's that good. And then Michigan lost to Iowa, who lost to North Dakota State. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah,
the night game on Saturday, 7 o'clock, Florida State is hosting Florida, and they're a 6.5-point favorite at home. I'm going to go with Florida in this one. I think Florida out-physicals them. Do you remember back to the first game of the year when Florida State played Ole Miss? And in the first half, Ole Miss's front 7 dominated Florida State. And in the second half, they still, they got into the backfield and stuff, but Florida State was able to make some quick passes and get rid of the ball, and that made a difference. And then they kind of they were able to run it a little bit. And Ole Miss kind of tired out because they had no depth. Florida's got some more depth, and I just think that Florida goes in there and gets the victory. I think they come in the SEC championship game hot.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn between this one, but I think I'm going to go with Florida State to cover this one.
At 6:30 that night, I'd forgotten to tell you about this one. Colorado hosts Utah, and that's a big matchup because the winner, if Utah wins, USC goes to the Pac-12 championship, and if Colorado wins, Colorado goes. But Colorado's a 10.5-point favorite at home to Utah. What do you think on that one?
10.5 points. Yeah, I like that. I like Colorado.
I'm going to go with Utah to cover in that one. I don't think they win the game, but I think they only lose by 6 or 7. And then the game that everybody listening is going to be looking forward to on Saturday at 2:30, Alabama plays host to Auburn, and surprisingly is a 17-point favorite at home. What do you think about that one?
17's that's a bit much. I think Auburn's a lot better than that. I'm gonna say Bama by 7. Bama by 7, so Auburn will cover that one.
So you think it's that close?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a really close game.
Well, let's talk about this one for a second. Auburn's expecting to get Cameron Petway back. I don't think he's going to be 100%. I'm not really sure if he makes that much of a difference.
Well, hold on. Let me take that back. Let me take it back a little bit. I didn't entirely think this one through. I don't think it's going to be a 7-point game. I still think Auburn covers. I think 17 is just, anybody can, you can say, oh, Alabama's a lot better or whatever. It's the Iron Bowl. Anything can happen. I think Bama wins by 2 scores. I'm gonna leave it at that. 2 scores.
Well, there's a lot of stuff going around that Sean White is questionable for this game. That a lot of people are saying he tore his labrum. I don't know if Petway's going to really be able to play. I think they're trying to be really optimistic about him playing, but I'm not sure that he will. And if he does, there's no way he's at 100%. So I'm not sure how much of a difference he makes. I think Auburn's going to really struggle to move the football in this game. I think Alabama's going to struggle to move the ball. I think Auburn's defense is legit. I kind of questioned it early in the year, but they have done a good job all season. They have a good front seven. And, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, but I think Alabama beats them by like 20-6, 23-6, something along that line. I think
Yeah.
Alabama does, and that if it's 23-6, that would be an even. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 20-6 and say Auburn does cover, but I think that Alabama does win by 2 scores, like you said.
Yeah, I think that if Auburn puts themselves in a chance to win this game, it's going to be all because of their defense. I think their defense can carry this team, and I think that their defense can definitely make a difference in the matter of making it a 3-point game. I think it can be very, very close depending on their defense. Obviously, their offense has to help them out a little bit, but their Auburn's defense is really good, like you said. And also the fact that this is a rivalry game, Iron Bowl, you never know what's going to happen. But guys, if just gonna throw this out here, if something does happen and Alabama wins by however much Alabama wins by, and Cameron Petway doesn't really play that much, do not come at me saying, "Oh, if Petway would have won," because you sound just like Texas in 2009 whenever they were talking about Colt McCoy. So please, if that happens, please don't come at me with that. Just gonna toss it out there.
Well, I'm not even sure how much of a difference he would make in the game because how much
That's
of a
what I'm
difference did
saying.
Leonard Fournette make in the Alabama LSU game?
That's what I'm saying.
Alabama's shown they can stop the run very well, and he's a big back. He doesn't have any breakaway speed or anything like that, and it's not like Alabama hadn't faced a running back of his caliber. So I'm just not sure how much of a difference he actually makes in that game. I think the difference maker is Sean White because he can bring the throwing element to Auburn. I don't think the other two can throw the ball as well as he can, and I think that if Sean White was 100%, then Auburn might be able to move the ball a little bit. But I think even if Sean White plays, he's not 100%. He's not able to throw the ball, and I just don't think Alabama would respect the pass that much. I think they'd load up the box with 8 guys, and it's just going to be hard for Auburn to move the football against Alabama on Saturday.
But honestly, I wouldn't put it past Jeremy Johnson to drop back and make some really good throws, some really clutch throws.
No, and that's what it's going to take. It's going to take him coming out and playing like Steven Garcia or playing like Trevor Knight did in the Sugar Bowl.
He might, and it would totally be Auburn. Like, that would be so Auburn if Jeremy Johnson came out Saturday night and had the game of his life.
No, and I could definitely see it happening just because we've seen it before. His first start ever against Arkansas that year, he was really good. So he has it in him, which does make you a little nervous if you're an Alabama fan. I don't really see it happening. If they were at home, it would worry me a little bit more. But, it's definitely possible that Jeremy Johnson could come out and just have the game of his life and throw it all over the place and open up the run game for them, and Alabama, really struggle to stop them. It is possible, but I still think Sean White would give them the best option throwing the football if you go by, what's been shown, over the past 2 years. But, we'll see how it goes. It would not shock me at all if Jeremy Johnson came out and played the game of his life.
Yeah. He's definitely capable of it. I hope he doesn't, though.
We'll move on to the NFL now this weekend. You got 3 games on Thanksgiving Day: Minnesota at Detroit, Washington at Dallas, and then the night game, Pittsburgh at Indianapolis. Andrew Luck is out with a concussion, so I'm looking at Pittsburgh probably running away with that game on Thursday night. But the game we're going to pick, Arizona travels to Atlanta on Sunday, Atlanta's a 4-point favorite at home, and I got Atlanta covering big time in that one.
Yeah, I take Atlanta. I'm not really so sure if it'll be a big win or if it'll be a blowout. I think Atlanta wins by 7 to 10, somewhere in there. I still think Arizona's pretty good, but I mean Atlanta's, they're playing for something now.
Well, see, I don't think Arizona's that good. They've struggled all year, and now they're Bruce Arians was just put in the hospital yesterday.
I think Arizona's good because of David Johnson. I think he's really
he's
good.
a good player. He's a difference maker.
Yeah, he
when
is.
He's on the field. He's a difference maker. The other game we're going to pick, Seattle travels to Tampa Bay, and Seattle's a 5.5-point favorite on the road, and Seattle's starting to really, really play well. They dominated Philadelphia this past weekend, and they're really starting to play some good football. Russell Wilson's starting to get healthy, and I got Seattle covering at Tampa.
Yeah, Seattle's looking good, but Tampa Bay is also looking really good. They're starting to come on. They're starting to click. They beat Kansas City this past week. But I think you're right. I've seen Tampa Bay play at home a couple times this year, and they have not looked good. I'm taking Seattle with you.
Oakland hosts Carolina. They're a 4-point favorite. Oakland coming off a big win in Mexico last night. You got to give it to Oakland. They're playing really well. They're 8-2, and I got Oakland covering in this one.
What's the spread?
4. They're a 4-point favorite.
I got the Raiders. Man, the Raiders are looking good, man. I love this team. I love Derek Carr. That man, he's a really good quarterback. Derek Carr is.
Yeah, and then now you're really starting to see Amari Cooper kind of coming to his own as a receiver. He's had some really, really good games here recently. So to go along with Crabtree, it's really scary for opponents.
Yeah, if Crabtree would catch the ball, he dropped like 5 passes thrown direct. Like they hit him in the hands last night, and he
didn't have a good night last night. But the thing with the Raiders is, man, they've got Crabtree and they got Cooper, and one of them's having a bad night, the other one seems to be having a good night.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they've been able to really complement each other, and they have a good team. The Raiders are one of them teams that they're kind of sneaking around in the AFC, and they might just surprise you and jump into the Super Bowl. So
yeah,
the last game we're going to pick, New Orleans hosts the Rams on Sunday, and is a 7-point favorite at home. Los Angeles coming off of Jared Goff's first start, and wasn't too special. Only threw for 134 yards. They go to New Orleans. I got New Orleans covering, and I think kind of winning big time. I don't think the Rams hang in there with them.
I'm the opposite. New Orleans defense does not look that good. I think Jared Goff's going to settle in a little bit, but I still think the Saints win. But I got the Rams covering this one.
All right, man. Well, I think that about does it for this week's episode. It was a good episode. Got a lot to talk about, and man, a big weekend coming up. I'm really looking forward to it. It's one of my favorite weekends of the year and rivalry weekend in college football. So a lot of big games, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah, guys. If y'all want, y'all can toss us your predictions for the Iron Bowl this coming weekend, and the winner gets nothing. So yeah, we're doing a little non-contest, if you will. We just want to see what y'all think. What are y'all thinking? And obviously give us more feedback about the Charlie Strong issue. And also a story that came up this morning when I looked on Twitter. Baylor's athletic director assaulted a reporter, and he got arrested for that. So a lot of background stuff brewing in Baylor. But yeah, let us know what y'all want to hear on the podcast. Make sure y'all following us. Follow at Hiding Our Bias on Twitter. My personal Twitter is T_Blackmon9. Brooks, what's your Twitter?
Caleb Brooks 22.
Caleb Brooks 22. Y'all follow us. Y'all let us know what y'all want to hear. And tweet us y'all's Iron Bowl scores, predictions.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, tweet us your Iron Bowl predictions. Big weekend. It's a weekend everybody's kind of been looking forward to for a long time. So, tweet us. Let us know what you think about this weekend. If you give Auburn a chance, if you don't, tweet us what you think about Ohio State and Michigan. That's another huge game. So let us know what you think about that game as well. Continue to give us some feedback on the Charlie Strong issue. We'll probably know a little bit more about it come Friday after they